ladies and gentlemen, we got something happening today. Oh, my, oh, look at the background, the suitcase. Oh, shizzanitzels, ladies and gentlemen. We are here today. Oh, my, looking good. Look at that Prime up there. Look at that Prime, I'm telling you. Oh, my, if you ain't checked out Prime, you might want to check it out. We got a video coming from Prime where they actually develop or show us how they develop their carbon fiber, how they call it, composite bodies, stuff like that. So be sure to stay tuned for that episode show that we got Inside the Shop. Of course, we got Inside the Dirt. We have Inside the Shop, where we go to these different race shops and different people within the motorsports world. And speaking of people within the motorsports world, oh, they're right on point. Look at it. Look at it pop up on the screen there, ladies and gentlemen. Deathridge Racing Opticians. Oh, everybody's like, what with that thumbnail? You look a little different. What are you talking about? Let me show you what I'm talking about. Oh, the damn horses or the horsepower. We have this Oakley case. Hold on, let me get this up here. You see this? Oakley case. Oh, look at that. Nice. Oh, yes, sir. Oh, yeah, focus back in on the Chaz. You want to see this. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my, we open up the case. It's like we're getting proposed to. Oh, God, I have a bad story on that one. Oh, you hear the click, ladies and gentlemen, the click. Oh, soft with the O. Oh, my. Oh, my. You know, after me and my recent political videos, Donnie called me up and he said, man, what the hell's wrong with you? Are you blind or something? Why can't you see this? What's actually going on? He's like, you need to get some glasses. So he's like, here, call Deathridge. Oh, my, ladies and gentlemen. Oh. Now, we're going to talk about this style we got here, too. Oh, here we go now. Ooh, boy. Hey. You know, I know for those who don't watch, but you may want to watch. Now, you may want to look at that. I mean, girls always be hating on my eyebrows. Well, you get your eyebrows so good. Do you do them? No, I don't. And I was worried about glasses ruining my eyebrows. But with the Chaz Special, these are the Chaz Specials. We're nicknaming this particular style. With the Chaz Special, since Deathridge is from Texas, we got to throw in a little bit of Hispanic language. The Chaz Special, you can get you a pair of glasses and still have sex appeal. You see what I'm saying? Still have sex appeal. Oh, my. We're going to have to, you know, for a joke, I did start onlyfans.com/long live the Chaz the other day for a joke. But with these pair of glasses, we could have some interesting episodes from the campground. Speaking of campgrounds, oh, never mind. Now, these are from Deathridge. Of course, some people have seen these on Jonathan Davenport, you know, and other people wear them. But Jonathan Davenport, Superman, Clark Kent, you know, does it backwards. He has the glasses off, and then when he puts them on, he becomes Superman behind the wheel. Now, see, most people would call in the Deathridge, old Greg over there. We'll give you some information for we're here. Give me what JD has. But you see the big difference here between the glasses that I have versus he has. You still have sex appeal with my style, okay? I don't know what you call that, JD. No, I'm just kidding. Great driver, but he hates Knoxville, so he can, golly, PG-13. But anyways, I actually did get to visit Greg Deathridge. We have a full-blown episode, just like we did with Prime, or just like we did with the Triple X Chassis, Joe's Racing Products. We kind of went to Deathridge yesterday here in Texas. I am in the TMS area. We went to TMS for the High Limit Championship Weekend, the All-In Championship Weekend. I do like that name. Good branding. But we did visit Deathridge. This is their website, deathridgeopticians.com. We actually went to that building yesterday. We got some footage of the building, some footage of how they actually make the lenses, how they would fit them. Also talked about some of Greg's racing history, why he is so passionate. You know, Wichita Falls, Texas, which is where this office is based out of. You kind of don't know like why or how some guy from Wichita Falls is a racing guy. Well, we kind of go into the dabblings into that. There's a lot of interesting things, but hopefully we'll have that out here within the next week or so. We're here working 24/7 while we're driving up and down the road or sitting in a hotel room. The only time we actually got off is when we go into the damn grandstands at the racetrack if we're not running up and down the pitting area. But we got some really good content coming from Deathridge, got some good content coming from Prime. And last night went to the races with these on, and I'll tell you what, when I went to the damn top of the Texas Motor Speedway grandstands, which are huge, by the way. These stands at Texas Motor Speedway are huge. I know a lot of people said, oh, it looked so empty. I'm telling you, there was at least 2,000 to 3,000 people at that event last night. Now, I believe sprint car racing, especially high limit, the best drivers in the world, deserve more than that. But we got to start combating the ideology behind what sprint car racing is. This is not a sport. And this is, I talked to Brad Sweet about this. Sprint car racing is not a sport where 14 or 16-year-old kids learn how to get ready to go to NASCAR. That's our biggest problem. That's why it's viewed as AAA. That's why it's viewed as a minor league. That's why nobody's coming out to fill up your grandstands. Late model racing don't have this perception. They never had a Jeff Gordon become a Tony Stewart, a Kane, a Larson, a Bell. Their sport was never utilized in that way. Their sport had money pumped into the late model division, pumped into super late model teams. Our sport had money pumped into midgets and trying to become that icon. Their icon was Scott Bloomquist. That's why the money's pumped into becoming that. Our icon is Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, Larson's. That's why the money is pumped in to become that. So this is an economical system that I'm not stupid and understand. But regardless, people were hating on the grandstands. It wasn't that bad. But I was at the top of those grandstands, and I could pretty much see the contingency stickers of the cars going into turn 3. So it was very nice to not have to get on my phone and film and zoom in to actually see what was going on. So anyways, Deathridge, check them out. If you call and you like how these look, these Oakleys with the Chaz with the hat, we can get you a hat if you need one. You want a Chaz Especial. Ooh. And you got some special things coming. But anyways, Deathridge, pretty big late model fan. Obviously, JD, that's his boy, you know. He won the big Eldor Million. Just so special. But JD's in trouble. And the Lucas Oil Late Model Series is in trouble. And it's because of this guy. This situation that happened last night at Brownstown was something I don't think anybody saw coming, because I didn't see it coming. I did my top 4, this chase for the championship they have in the late model division. I put Ricky Thornton as the underdog because, guys, I hate to say it, and I think it's wrong 100%. You know my stance. But ever since he left, that other team, I'm not even going to mention their name, ever since that other team went other directions with other people, Ricky Thornton Jr. hasn't won a race until last night. He hadn't won in that Kohler Motorsports car. So, sorry, he did win in the Rumley machine, but he hadn't won in super late model racing with Kohler Motorsports. And team and chemistry and being able to click and win is a huge deal when you're going up against the 4 or the other 3 of Davenport, Moran, and all these other superstars. I'm just messing with you, McCready. And McCready, which is who I picked as my underdog. But I just had to act like I left his name out because I picked him, and he ran like shit last night. But anyway, he spun out all on his own. Timmy, what the hell happened? Do I really need to be in the pitting area to give you the damn special sauce? You know what I mean. All right, hawk 2 of these nuts. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. But regardless, you have to be able to win races when you are in a multi-race shootout for a championship with Moran, with Davenport, with McCready, especially Moran and Davenport, which I predicted in my little video as the favorites. And I actually would have picked Moran because I think Moran, to me, has been more consistently fast this entire year. Davenport's right with them, If the other team didn't let go of Ricky Thornton Jr. for other people, they would have been the dominant favorite. But because of the issues that happened, because Ricky Thornton Jr. had fallen off the pace and hadn't won with this team, I put him as the underdog. But now he's won a damn race. And winning changes everything. Now, I know some of y'all are going to sit there and say, well, Chaz, you know, Ricky doesn't run good at Eldora, which is true. But last night, I believe Moran ran 9th and Davenport ran 10th, even though Davenport was up front for a considerable amount of time, or racing in the top 5. But if you are Ricky Thornton Jr. and you can win this race tonight, and you could potentially back that up tonight as well, and Moran and Davenport have a slump race, you don't necessarily have to go to Eldora and win. You just have to go to Eldora and run well. Because this isn't like last year where it comes down to the final weekend or the final race, and this is how you're going to win it or lose it, where Ricky Thornton Jr. lost his championship last year that most people believe was his, deservingly so. But we look at the points right now. By the way, another plug there for Deathridge. He's there on the Lucas Oil site, most popular driver award. You look at these points on the website, and Ricky Thornton Jr. got 20 on him last night due to that subpar performance by Moran and Davenport. McCready had his issue spun out. So 20 points is a lot right here, guys. Unfortunately for Tim McCready, it's looking like that mistake last night, that spin out, that self-spin, ruined his chances. He's 145 back, with Moran and Davenport back 20 and 25. Now, that win column's very deceptive for Ricky Thornton Jr. 12 wins, 6-9-2. Obviously, Davenport with 9. Look at the top 5s, 30 to Moran, 28 to Davenport. Unfortunately, McCready slumping in all 3 categories in comparison to his counterparts. But Ricky Thornton Jr., there's only one of those wins that is with this Kohler Motorsports team. But once again, winning does fix a lot of things, and Brownstown is more of a Ricky Thornton Jr. racetrack, a short track, slinger in there. Obviously, Davenport and, well, Moran I see is a little more versatile than Davenport. That's just my opinion as far as driving styles. But Davenport's really good at floating the middle. It depends on how, and floating it at Eldora. It depends on how the track ends up being at the Dirt Track World Championship. But this, you know, I lost a lot of intrigue with late model racing after the Ricky Thornton Jr. deal happened. I ain't even going to go into the details. But after last night, you know, I was thinking about next weekend. Oh, I've never been to Joliet. I should go to Joliet for the Outlaw Show. But I'm not too sure. I might have to go to Eldora now. I just don't know how I'm going to make it in many ways. But I might have to go to Eldora now, because this is going to be intense if Ricky Thornton Jr. has a shot at this thing, which I just didn't see coming, but due to the lackluster performances with Kohler ever since they got together. They hadn't won. You're going up against Moran, Davenport. Those guys are going to win. You could say McCready, well, maybe in the same slump, but of not being able to win. But it looked like McCready had some momentum, at least. Ricky Thornton Jr.'s momentum had completely went away. So for that momentum to get a fireball effect, as we saw last night, and pick up a win, intrigues me. This could make Eldora extremely, extremely different. Speaking about stock and turning around and fireballing, how about this, guys? This Ryan Timms, who was supposed to go run a midget, and I guess he listened to the Chaz, probably listened to other people. I'm just trying to take credit, but due to our recent midget encounters with subpar race car drivers who live on their prowess and live on their binary status. We got into the midget situation. But when Ryan Timms ran well at I-70, we had a very interesting discussion with him. It's on the channel if you want to tune into that or watch that video. It is on the channel. It'll probably be at the end of this video so you can see what we're talking about. And we talked about midgets and stuff. And apparently Ryan Timms wasn't supposed to be running this event this week. He told high limit officials, he told Tony Laporta, he told me he was going to be running a midget this weekend. That all switched, guys. And Ryan Timms was at Texas Motor Speedway last night and ran an impressive third, possibly was the fastest car on the track at certain points. He struggled a little bit more in lap traffic than Darren Pittman and Brad Sweet. What a hell of a comparison, right? It's hard to be better than those guys. But he ran well. He was fast all night. He didn't shy away. Aaron Reitzel, I thought, tried to bully him a few times in his moves. Ryan Timms didn't back down. Maybe that is something that midget racing potentially does teach you, is to, deal with aggressive, overdriving people who try to bully you on the racetrack due to their binary status and get a pass. But in this situation, Ryan Timms looks amazing in this car. This combination with Liebig, or Liebig, I always call it Liebig, but Liebig, it is sprint car racing, but that's for the binary situation. Regardless, this is a good combination. This is the fastest this car has looked on a consistent basis, and it's always had speed. It just seems like maybe this car's missed a driver. And I know a lot of people say, oh, well, a car is just a car, but this car right here, it's ran well. Not discounting what Boguski and some other guys have done in this car, but what Ryan Timms is doing right now is kind of leaning towards, well, maybe it just missed that it factor that we thought Ryan Timms had years ago that went away, maybe because a car that we thought that this car potentially didn't have. Maybe it was because of a little bit of a it factor in the driver. It's not like they're bad. It's not like Ryan Timms' own stuff is a bad car, bad equipment. It's got the best of the best. It's not like Boguski and any other guy who's been in this 10 car isn't the best of the best. Isn't really, or isn't one of the top talents. But there is something to be said about that it factor that just puts you over the top and is able to compete on that next level, that gravel, that Sweet, that Pittman, high limit, World of Outlaws. There is something to that it factor. I think Ricky Thornton Jr. suffers from missing that it factor. Maybe they found it. But that does matter. When you're trying to keep up with the 1%, there's a lot of 1% shit happening, either on the driver's side or the car side. And if you are missing that 1%, you're not going to be able to compete up front in these elite levels of motorsports in the world, because that's what sprint car racing and late model racing is. This isn't where 16 and 18-year-old kids learn how to drive to go to NASCAR. This isn't tryout division. This is the most elite form of motorsports in the world. And to be able to compete against the elite, you got to have elite capabilities and an elite pairing. And I think that this potential match with Ryan Timms and this 10 car has the capability of doing 1% shit. That's what it looks like. And I applaud Ryan Timms for not racing the midget this week and continuing this ride and combination, because I think a lot of people in this group and potentially on Ryan Timms' side, his camp, see exactly what I see. And you all see it. You all see it when it's different. Sometimes it's the car with the it factor missing, that 1%. Sometimes it's the driver with the 1% it factor missing. I think that this was a match that is able to get into that percentile. Hopefully I'm an RTJ fan. Hopefully for RTJ, that's the case. Maybe they found that it. You can develop into that 1% with Kohler and him, but this is a match that is in it right out of the gate, and you don't want to leave that behind. Speaking of 1 percentile, look at a guy who is 1 percentile, and that would be Brad Sweet. I want to get a picture. I'm scared to put this video up there. Okay, it paused. You got to be careful for other content creators. You can't really show anything that is connected with flow in video, or they will flag your video. You can't show nothing. Big, clap in the hands to Dirt Vision for not having that be the case. But Flow and everybody, they will flag it. And even though if you dispute it and it becomes approved one day, you will lose any kind of recreational funding from that video for 2 months. And if you do get it, you didn't get to set your ads or anything. It's a horrible nightmare to deal with Flow Racing and their algorithmal copyright protected aspects, which is fine, I guess. They're doing what they have to do. I'm sure if Dirt Vision or these other companies could do the same, or afford to do the same, they would. But I was scared when that video was playing. So Hopefully it wasn't long enough to be detected. Maybe this is just a high limit video in itself and it's not under the same category, but regardless, Brad Sweet is flying, guys. Brad Sweet, third straight in a row. I mean, he swept the week. This is something that we thought Brad Sweet would do. We thought that Brad Sweet, although hell of an effort, let me say before I continue, hell of an effort by Darren Pittman. Fast out of the gate. When you got it, when I'm speaking about Darren Pittman and any of these guys, when you got it, you just got it. It don't matter if you're off for a year, off for a few weeks. This is why I never gave a lot of credit for Larson to be able to jump into a car and just win. I don't think you forget how to ride a bike, and sometimes that time off makes it fun again. You know, sometimes these, the freshness, or sometimes the week in and week out grind detours your ability. So I think there is something to be said for having time off, racing when you want to race, like a Darren Pittman. And I also think there's something to be said about age being a bullshit factor. Like when they say 16 to 18, this is what I always will say. Or when they say a 35 or 40-year-old needs to retire. No, you're full of shit. You're just trying to play to the plagiarism of the marketing and the the developmental programs that are making money on parents and their dreams and their kids and you're trying to be a vampire to that situation. You're trying to push the old blood out to make money off the new blood and the hope of the future and all this shit. It's very creepy what actually happens in the motorsports domain in that level in the developmental world. And I hate that sprint car racing is somewhat being utilized in that sector. But Darren Pittman's an example. Lance Deweese is an extreme example. There's plenty of other drivers who don't lose it once you get over 40 years old. They don't lose it. They decline. I hate with a passion that a driver coming up and winning at the age of 28 or 26 or winning locally thinks that they're too old and they can't do anything. In the sprint car world, late model world don't have this because they don't suffer from the issues that we are inherently suffering in the sprint car racing domain. But it's disgusting to think that once kids or adults get to 24, 25, 26, they don't think they could become a big-time sprint car racer because it's pushed to us like you got to be 16 or 18. That's a lie. Darren Pittman proves that it's a lie. Several other drivers prove that it's a lie. The only thing that don't want that to be told or to let people know that is the developmental system that I'm talking about that makes a lot of money on monetizing dreams and aspirations and families. And it's disgusting. It's actually disgusting, which is why I'm so passionate and against it. But also there's binary tricks in there and things that are happening right now to keep you cheering on that situation. Regardless, I don't want to keep hounding on that. I want to get to Brad Sweet. Once again, I was just giving praise to Pittman and some of these people who just race when they want to race or can race or have opportunities to race. If you got it, you got it. Simple as that. I still think Tom Brady could pick up a football and throw the ball just as good as any of these guys. We don't have to take hits. Well, we do have to take hits, but we're not football quarterbacks where we're getting hit by 500-pound guys every single time. Some guys may drive a little different as they get a little older, but the skill, the ability, the quickness does not go away. You could say reaction time. I don't give a damn. I think you could drive a car better with a lower reaction time than a quicker reaction time. How many times do we see these younger kids overdriving the car, turning the wheel a little bit too much, and putting themselves in a dangerous situation that destroys a race car and potentially harms themselves? So reaction time going down, not necessarily a good thing. If you compare that reaction time going away, hold on, we'll just go ahead and scroll up. If you can compare that reaction time going away with understanding, with awareness, with predictability, with anticipation. If you can combat that with your talent that you naturally have and the losing of reaction time with the gaining of awareness, which with the gaining of all the things I'm describing, I don't think that there's I don't think there's any fact, period, to age in motorsports. It just doesn't equate to me. Maybe when you start getting to Joe Biden and Donald Trump's age, then you can compare. But I don't know. Still, at that point. Regardless, Brad Sweet is a badass. He won 3 in a row. Getting hot. Will he carry this into the outlaw season? Will he race any outlaw races? What are they thinking here? Texas Motor Speedway, where he won this. Man, this is a great facility. It's basically Charlotte without a World Finals. It's a great racetrack. The surface does have some questionable issues. I know people are like, man, when's it going to slick off and go the top to bottom? Apparently, it has been going slick and racing top to bottom. The Power Eye race last weekend had that. But for me, being from Texas, the MO on this racetrack for a very long time has been once it goes slick, it just rubbers down and eats tires away, and it needs a full surface redo. I don't know if that's the case anymore. Maybe they've done some stuff. Maybe, something's happened, or maybe somebody's going to invest. Maybe the dirt from Devil's Bow needs to be moved over here. I'm not sure about that. But that's been the MO. It didn't look that way last night. It didn't rubber down. Apparently, the Power Eye race last week didn't rubber down, was slicked off. So maybe it'll be a little bit different tonight. But I think High Limit has some future plans here with Texas Motor Speedway, which is a premier facility in a decent area. Don't know why it can't be capable. But once again, you're in an area, and I've dealt with this in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex that has about 7 million people in it, and you can't get 15,000 to show up. You could barely get 2 or 3. And that's a perception issue. It goes back to a lot of the stuff I'm describing in this episode as to why. Nobody wants to attack that. They're scared because of the monetary system that is attached to everything, the tentacles of the politics of the monetary system, because that developmental programs and system has made so much money. It kind of tells this system what to do. Once again, back to the politics, it's very geopolitical when you consider different satellite types of racing. But I do think it's a good idea. It just needs to be not manipulated, but not manipulated at all. The truth needs to come out on what this is. The truth needs to come out on what's happening over there off the side of 114. So I think there's some good potential here. I think Brad Sweet's getting some speed. Will he run the rest of the Outlaw schedule? Maybe we'll have to do a talk with him tonight if he's available. We'll see. But if he carries this type of speed and momentum, he ran decently well at National Open. But if he carries this, there's no doubt to think that we could have a hell of a World Finals, which I am planning to attend. It could be a very interesting final weekend. And honestly, the most anticipated event for me that I'm looking to hopefully attend is the Riverside 2-day show with the World of Outlaws. Riverside International Speedway, home of Sammy Swindell and home of Greg Hodnett, home of Hooker Hood and all these legendary Midwest racers. If he shows up, if Ryan Tim's in that 10, I think that's a deadly combination, a potential combination to win the Outlaw race with that 10 car. It is the Riverside event. We could be potentially with that. Brad Sweet's momentum. Obviously, the World of Outlaws somewhat in a heated battle for the World of Outlaw Championship. Can Carson Macedo get some ground built up and come after gravel here? This Riverside weekend is going to be entertaining as all get out. I'll tell you that for sure. The High Limit Championship is pretty much done. Who is ever going to compete with Brad Sweet? Tyler Courtney, the All-Star guys, hopefully Rico, the Outlaw, Brett Marks, who apparently is going back to PA. I mean, who is ever going to compete with Brad Sweet? It's just, what's it going to happen? You need David Gravel. You need Carson Macedo. You need these guys. You need Donnie Schatz out there. You need Sheldon out there. You need those guys on the track to compete with Brad Sweet. Just like you do maybe need a Brad Sweet over in the Outlaws. James McFadden, I think without his issues to start the year could be a little higher in this. Obviously, this is the competitor points. The owner points are a little bit different, whereas Roth Motorsports has moved up because of Dominic Selzy, I believe, substituting for them at the beginning of the year when James McFadden had his issues. But there is only 1 point coming into tonight, apparently, for this Owners' Championship between Brent Marks and Myers, which is Corey Day. So that is a charter membership up for grabs tonight. And then the Boot 13's a little further back, but not much. But 1 point, that can swing by a position. Wow, ladies and gentlemen. So keep an eye out for that. We'll see where it goes. And then, of course, before we get out of here, stay tuned for the Prime Composite Bodies video that we got coming out. It's going to be a good one. Of course, Clyde Knipp from the JJR team jumping towards the manufacturing side of sprint car racing. We go through an entire video of the process to build these carbon fiber parts, the durability, a little bit of the process that they do that's different. Even a little bit of Kevlar. So this is top-line stuff here, ladies and gentlemen. And I look forward to being able to show y'all the process from the shop there in Tipton, Missouri. or not in Tipton, Missouri. We're outside of California, Missouri. I can't remember the little town, but it's in that northern central Missouri area. So anyways, that's going to do it for the show today, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, if you want to get the Chaz E Special Deathridge right here, ladies and gentlemen, go check them out. DeathridgeOpticians.com. Contact information is on the website. Ask for the Chaz E Special. You can get you can get these pair, and you can still wear glasses, still has sex appeal with the Chaz E Special. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like the video, comment below. As always, subscribe. Membership buttons at the bottom. If you want to partner up, contact us on Facebook. Get your name, get your brand up there. We may come to your shop, check out what you got doing as well as a piece of content. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.